set, hut, hut.
As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sounds of Golden Blue football.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Now let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about the 50 to 10 to 5. A touchdown, West Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Patrick White. Touchdown, Tavon Austin.
But Don Nehlen's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels fear to tread.
I think you think that these guys are going to fall over dead for you. Well, I got news for you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth. It's Mountaineer pride.
Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football.
We've no doubt tonight they shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue. Not this night.
They've done it. They've done it. A perfect season. And the Mountaineers, for the first time in history, undefeated and untied.
Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers, for the second time, have finished a regular season with an unblemished mark.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into the Country Roads webcast, here for another live stream, July 6th edition. And just like that, it's another WVU football recruiting update. 23 commits now in that ever impressive 2026 WVU football recruiting class. And perhaps maybe one of the most impressive ones of the bunch that we've had a chance to talk about now. Now, you guys know one thing about me. You guys know I love the skill position players, and particularly I get really excited about running backs. You know, way back in the early days of this channel, we talked about Jaheim White when he committed and how excited I was about him, and he's been my favorite player since then. That's panned out well, and I think we've seen some really good running backs come through here in this 2026 class already. You guys have heard me talk about Jet Walker, the one that we've had committed for quite a while now, being my favorite commit that we have thus far in this 2026 class. Well, how about another running back to not only compliment him, but look like those two guys have extremely bright futures for the future of WVU football? Could you imagine them as a 1-2 combo? And we're talking, of course, about Christopher Talley, who I think is a running back you guys are going to be super excited about, because one thing he brings to the table is elite speed to go along with being a top 50 rated running back nationally, top 40 on another service as well. So we'll get into talking about Christopher Talley. This won't be a long stream. I just wanted to cover his commitment and update you guys yet again on that 2026 class, as it continues to be so impressive, and now one of the most impressive additions thus far, in my opinion, because this is game-breaking type speed, guys. This is the type of running back we want in a Rich Rod offense, and I'm super excited to talk about him, and we'll do just that, even take a look at some of his plays here momentarily. But before we get into it and talk about him too extensively, before I start waxing poetic too much about Mr. Talley, I do want to say I appreciate you guys tuning into this one, whether you're watching live or on the playback there. If you're watching here live on YouTube, help us out by hitting that thumbs up button. That helps a ton with that crazy YouTube algorithm. Those of you that watch live or watch the video there on Facebook or Twitch, be sure to come over to the YouTube channel, subscribe here, so you can get the pre-recorded videos, podcast episodes we put out in addition to just these live streams here. Of course, you can leave your thoughts in the comment section. Always appreciate those interactions as well, as we continue to try and grow the channel here, grow the CRW community throughout Mountaineer Nation. And of course, can't forget you guys that listen to the audio side there on any podcast platform you like. You can find us there. And if you do that, leave us a rating. Appreciate that. So with no further ado, I'm excited to talk about it, man. I'm ready to dive in. So first things first, let's pull up our CRW recruiting tracker here. I changed up the buttons on StreamYard. I keep clicking the wrong button when I'm trying to share the screen. It's going to take a while to get used to that. I've done that the past couple of streams. But let's pull this up here. Like we said, this list already super impressive. 23 verbal commitments. I mean, West Virginia's, pretty much close to done, probably recruiting high school players in this, 2026 class already. And we're, 5 months from signing day, 5 months and a couple of weeks or so. But Christopher Talley, joins the class, becomes the second running back of the class. And you guys have heard me rave about Jet Walker, 6'2", 215 out of Texas. Great size, but he had really impressive speed and really good numbers as well. And I think that's what caught me off guard with Jet Walker was how fast he was for his size. And I think similarly, because what I heard about Christopher Talley and is 100% true. He's a track star. You know, he breaks records on that side of things. He has elite speed. That's why I put it in the thumbnail for the video here. That's why I keep referencing it, because that's something, you know, you can't coach. That's huge, how fast Christopher Talley is. But I think when I watched him on film and I took a look at a couple of plays, we'll dive into it momentarily. What impressed me with him is he's 5'10", 170 out of Tennessee, so a little bit smaller than Walker, but he runs tough as well. He'll run through tackles. So I think that's what's interesting about both these backs. You look at Walker, you'd think, oh, he's the bigger back. You know, he'll be the bigger back in this class. And, you know, it's size-wise, of course, you're right there, but he also has speed and can beat you and hit a home run with you. And then, you know, Christopher Talley, you would think, oh, well, they're not going to run him between the tackles. He's just pure speed. But you'd be wrong yet again. Despite being 5'10", 170, he runs extremely tough. He's extremely impressive. So I think West Virginia has went out and found two running backs that are tailor-made fits for the Rich Rod offense, both with what they bring speed-wise and how they run the football. They certainly have a hard edge to their game. One out of Texas, and then now Christopher Talley out of Tennessee. Really impressed with both running backs in this class, and they're two of my favorite commitments West Virginia's gotten in this entire class. Like I said, you guys know sometimes I'm biased to the skill players and particularly biased to the running backs, but I think when you see Christopher Talley here, you'll see why I'm so impressed with him, just like you did when we talked about Jet Walker so long ago when he committed. So Christopher Talley joins the list there, the 23 names that you see on screen, the verbal commitments here in the Take Me Home 2026 class for WVU. So let's pull up here his announcement of his commitment here that he put out on social media. Then we'll take a look at his recruiting profiles so I can show you guys he has a high rating to go along with the great speed there, as he's, you know, top 40 running back in the nation on one service, top 50 on another. So, but here is his announcement that he put out on social media. He says 110% committed, tags his high school, tags WVsports.com, tagging the West Virginia football page, and you see the graphic there, Christopher Talley committing to the Mountaineers, becoming the 23rd commitment in the class and the second running back. And man, it's one I'm super hyped about with the speed he brings to the table and that he brings to that position. And not only, you know, those things that I've highlighted about him already, but he's also a scheme fit for, you know, of course, the speed, but because of the offense that he runs, where he's coming from at Whitehaven is a spread system, and they do some similar run concepts to what he'll be utilized here in with Rich Rod's offense as well. So in addition to his announcing that on social media, there were some nice things shared here by WVsports.com, the rival site there, Keenan Cummings. This is what he said here. Christopher Talley himself says, I'm looking forward to coming in, getting to work, and bringing a ring to West Virginia. Let's go, Mountaineers. You love that. I love hearing that talk about a ring already. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. So, and then he also, I think we got some comments from his coach here, I believe, if I've got this one pulled up as well. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is from WV Rivals here. They say Christopher Talley's speed is special, and his high school coach says WVU is landing a dynamic back with explosive playmaking ability and the drive to keep getting better. And here is the quote from his high school coach here. He can run by you and make explosive runs. He has high-level speed. He's a really, really talented player at this current time, but he's only getting better. So we're super excited about Christopher Talley. There's a statement from him and his coach. And let's take a look at his profiles here. First, let's take a look at Rivals, because like I said, Rivals has him rated even a little bit higher at number 36 at his position. So top 40 running back in the entire country, a top 25 player in the state of Tennessee, 3-star, 5.7 rating there on Rivals. And West Virginia beat out some big-name schools for him. You look at some of the other offers, other power conference programs involved, schools like Arkansas out of the SEC, Cincinnati right here in the same conference as West Virginia, Georgia Tech out of the ACC, Memphis, Pitt. You know, so you beat out Pitt. That's always nice. So you see multiple power conference programs and power conference schools were after Christopher Talley with this elite speed that he brings to the table and his high ranking, high regard there. Top 40 in the nation for the running back position on Rivals. And here he is on 247, where he rates as a top 50 running back here on the 247 composite. You can see number 49 running back in the country, but the top 30 player in the state of Tennessee and a top 20 player in the state of Tennessee on the composite there. So You love how highly he's rated. You love the other schools that are after him. And like I always tell you guys when we go through this process, more so than the star rating, which on 247, he's also a 3-star, but he's 87 grade, which is a pretty high grade there. A lot of West Virginians have been 85s, 86s, so getting an 87 is nice, getting another one a little bit higher up there. But more so than star rating, what I always like to say, and I'll try and hammer this home as much as I can remember to on these recruiting updates, is look where he's ranked in the state and at his position, and then look what other schools are after him. We just talked about power conference schools being after him. So that's how you know. But then the main way to know how you feel about a recruit is the old eye test. And you can do that via their highlight tape. You can do that via watching game film. And here we're going to take a look at Christopher Talley's highlight tape a little bit here. This highlight tape's over 6 minutes long. We'll take a look at a few plays from it here, and you can see the elite speed that I'm talking about that he showcases, but also the contact balance and, the a bit of the hard edge physicality, if you will, to be able to be a strong runner despite being, smaller in stature, some would say, right? 5'10", 170. But that's also the frame that West Virginia's had great success with those type of players, with Steve Slayton, Noel Devine, Tavon Austin, you name it. And you get a guy, Christopher Talley, here with elite speed and can show you that here on tape. Let's take a look at a few plays. So here he is. His team's backed up against the goal line. Look at him. You think they got him wrapped up? He squirts out of there. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Right off the bat, you see everything I just talked about in one play. Not only does he break tackles, get out of there when it looks like he's just hemmed in, about to be tackled for loss, and then you see the elite speed once he gets through there. No one was coming near him. Here he is this time, a little bit more of a gap scheme, got a couple pullers in front, and he's able to get to the edge, and that's not where you want him to get. Look out. Look at him run through the arm tackles. That's the contact balance that I was talking about here leading into these highlights. And that speed is just unbelievable. Unbelievable speed. Here he is taking a handoff out of the pistol. This is more of a zone blocking scheme here, looks like. But great hole opened up for him. And once he gets to the second level, look how quick he can cut but not lose speed. That's what's so impressive to me here. Not only is it the elite speed, like he gets in the open field, forget about it, but also how quick he can cut, stop on a dime, and then just boom, he's up. He gets up to, that top speed super fast within just a few steps, it seems like. So that's what you love, because some guys, they're fast, but it takes them a second to get there. Look at him at the end of that play, lowering the shoulder. That's that hard edge mentality I'm talking about. But he has that not only speed, but that acceleration. And you see the quick cuts that go along with it where he can make those weave in and out without losing much speed. That's what makes him super lethal and dangerous to go along with that top end track speed that he has. Look and see what I'm saying? The way that he cut right there without hardly losing any speed just literally made the guy fall right on his heels. And he accidentally stepped out of bounds right there. That would have been another touchdown. Let's take a look at one more here. Here he is bursting up the middle, little split zone action. One-on-one with the safety. Just a quick little, I'm going to cut in. No, just kidding. I'll just stay outside because you're not going to be able to catch me. I mean, that's a safety that's strafing, not only has an angle on him, but is right there, staring at him coming downhill, and he still can't make the play because of Christopher Talley's speed. Oh my gosh, guys. I'm just absolutely giddy about this running back edition. Christopher Talley joining this class. That's so awesome, guys. Wow. Like I said, you guys know Jet Walker had been, perhaps my favorite the entire time, but now that's up for debate. And maybe 1A and 1B between these two running backs West Virginia's brought in. But all in all, we know it's been a super impressive 2026 recruiting class for West Virginia. And this 23rd commitment, remains the case here with Christopher Talley. And I just wanted to come on here, highlight him a little bit and talk about him here on this quick 2026 WVU football recruiting update via this live stream here on July 6th. Like I said, it wouldn't be a lengthy one coming at you a little bit later than usual. Want to get to sleep, and as my guy James Weekly says, it's because it's one more damn sleep before college football 26, which comes out tomorrow. If you got the deluxe edition, you get that early access tomorrow starting at noon, and I am super hyped up for that. So ready to get through this evening, go to sleep, wake up, and get to noon as quick as possible, because you guys know how much I love that. Of course, covered it on my other channel, JCCFB. But how about some guys you get to play with on the future in that game that West Virginia has in tow in this 2026 class? One of the most impressive ones there, Christopher Talley. What a pickup. What a job by this staff on the recruiting trail. Tip of the cap to, Larry Porter, the new running backs coach, and just everyone involved, scouting team, everyone here on the staff is doing a great job with this Take Me Home 2026 class. So with that being said, I'm going to get up on your all's comments, and we will call it a stream here. Wanted to highlight an impressive running back with elite speed. Hey, James Weekly, appreciate you. Says everyone sub and like. Appreciate that, James. That means a lot, man. That means a lot. Eric Flower says, "What's up, everyone? What's going on, Eric? Always appreciate you, bro." He said, "I think I'm going to put all my DraftKings winnings on WVU over 5.5 wins. Brown let me down. Hey, Rich Rod's not going to let you down, man. We're at least going to a bowl game. Go ahead and throw it on there, Eric. I'll reimburse you some personally myself if it ends up falling through." No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't hold me to that. Don't hold me to that. Because you never know what could happen. Some crazy injuries could come out or something. But no, I feel pretty confident about it. I've already made one bet on that line myself. I may throw another one on it also. I think that they're underselling us, but that's just like how we like it, right? We like being underrated, undervalued, underappreciated, and get to fly in there under your radar and smack you in the mouth and surprise the hell out of you. And I think that's what we're going to do this upcoming season, is surprise the hell out of a lot of people with this new team that we have in tow, new coaching staff, and pretty much brand new roster. But I think they've got a lot of good pieces that fit what they want to do offensively and defensively. So I think you got a good chance to be a winning man right there, Eric, with that bet. I really do. I really do. Appreciate you, James, Eric, everybody else that was in here live. Like I said, no, it was a short one, so some people may hop in and catch this on the playback. That's cool. If so, you can leave your thoughts in the comments section. Appreciate those interactions as well. And either way, whether you're watching live or on the playback, you can hit that thumbs up button. Help us out with that crazy YouTube algorithm. Help us find other Mountaineer football fans like yourself. So with that being said, super excited about this 2026 recruiting class. Can't say that enough, guys. And if any other commits come out here, any other verbal commitments, we'll talk about them in the future. But one of my favorite ones thus far, a top 50 running back nationally with elite speed, Christopher Talley in the fold, joins one of my other favorites, Jet Walker. So I think West Virginia has two really good running backs in tow here for this 2026 class, which is great news yet again for this recruiting class. But that'll do it for this one, guys. I'll talk to you guys in the near future. Appreciate y'all as always. Until next time, let's go Mountaineers.